Yo, ya, yo, ya, yo. All right, we're live. Hey, everyone.
Hey guys, PIEGUYRULZ here, and please ignore that weeb trash.
Weed trash. Oh man, what are you talking about? That's perfectly fitting for tonight's show.
Hey everyone, how are you? Um, just a reminder, some people seem to be confused. This is the first week we're covering the hour or more category. This was a weird subcategory that happened throughout the 2000s. So instead of moving on to 2008, we are going to be talking about the two things nominated for the hour or more category. And tonight, a special thing, a special segment. We are also going to be talking about the nominees for the 2021 half-hour animated Emmys. They were just announced today. We've got some feelings on them. Of course, they'll get their own episode later on, but this is just like first impression, gut feelings. I feel like we're more qualified than most people to give
Yeah, at this
a hot
point.
take on this, you know? So,
This is what we've been planning for. It's been building up for months now. I'm
Mhm.
ready, man.
All right. And then, of course, next week we will be doing 2008,
Correct mundo. This should
and that
be
means I
fun.
have to
Absolutely.
we have to watch Robot Chicken again.
Yeah, we do, and I'm excited, but I know you're not.
Well, I also have to watch SpongeBob, so it's gonna
Ooh,
be
that's gonna be a show to
mm,
tune in for.
yeah.
Pie Guy talking about
Hey,
SpongeBob again, guys. Come on, you know you gotta be there for that. Never thought that
mm.
day would come.
Hey Shadow, did that big video come out yet?
No, it comes out on Friday.
All right, Friday. Check out Shadow's channel. It's his interview with
With
the creator of the Powerpuff Girls
It's
reboot,
true. I interviewed the head
the
writers and
Devil.
directors. Yep. Yeah, it was great. I asked all the invigorating and deep questions that everyone wanted
Hmm.
to have the answers to. It's sure to
Yep.
be good. Not clickbait.
No.
Good stuff. No, in all seriousness, I
uh,
do have a very, very, very large video coming out on Friday. The biggest project I've ever done. Really happy with how it turned out. It's good, so I can't wait. I'm
nice,
excited.
nice. Yeah, check it out. My voice might be in there.
It might.
Oh,
It might.
did you cut me?
No, I'm just I'm leaving people on the edge to be like, well
Okay.
now I got to go watch and see if Pie's in it.
Yeah, because they don't have enough hours of us talking to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I made a video.
You did,
Woo!
and it was awesome.
Oh, thank you, Shadow.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, I'm sure most of you have heard by now. I made a video. So, and as a tie-in to that video, I'm very happy to announce that tomorrow at 7, the same time this started, over on my gaming channel, I will be playing the iCarly Wii game, and I have no idea what it's about. I don't know anything about this game, but I will be playing that, and then on Thursday, 7 p.m. again on that special channel, Pie Guy Plays, I will be playing iCarly 2, I Join the Click, the
Oh
sequel on the
yeah.
Wii. Yep. I do a lot of gaming streams over there, trying to really kind of, I don't know, make streaming content.
Yeah, and have fun.
So check it out if you haven't. I play a little bit of Binding of Isaac. It's my favorite game. But then I also play this stuff and the Last Airbender movie game, and then also some good licensed games because those exist, like Steven Universe Save the Light.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I actually watched like 10 or 15 minutes of that on the replay.
Aw,
So yeah, that seemed cool.
yeah, nice.
So
All right. Well, with all that business out of the way, we got a show to do tonight.
we do.
So, Shadow, would you like to announce the two nominees for the hour or more subcategory of the Emmy Awards?
Absolutely. So, just as a reminder, this was for 2009. We did the main nominees last week, so go and watch that on replay because, yeah, it was fun. This week we have two nominees, as Pi said, and they are Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Destination Imagination, and Afro Samurai Resurrection, specifically the dubbed version featuring Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
It's just those two. So
That's it.
those are the two main things we're talking about today. And then that third segment that Pi mentioned just a little bit ago after that. So
Yeah. Don't forget, you can vote. Look down in the description. You can click on a link and you can vote on which one of these two you prefer. I have a feeling my fan base is going to skew one way, but hey, maybe not. You never know. There's also a link down in the description to the Discord server, which is where we talk about all these shows. We get comments from you guys about these shows. I also announce all my gaming streams and stuff in there too. It's been a lot of fun. We've had some fun discussions. We're a small community, but we're going strong.
yeah.
So yeah, I think that's all the plugging out of the way. Let's get started. Shadow, Craig McCracken.
I know.
He made a show, and that show made a movie, and that movie made an episode of our show, apparently.
Yeah.
Made an Emmy nominee.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Destination Imagination it is over an hour long without commercials. It's like an hour and 6 minutes or something like that. And in the movie, it's about how Frankie is really overworked and underappreciated. And when a new mysterious imaginary friend comes to the house, Frankie basically gets so wrapped up in spending time with him that she disappears from the house and everything goes to shamble. And the main characters have to go find her and figure out what happened to her.
Yep. This was
Wait, hang on. Before we talk about it, does anyone remember this airing? Anyone? Because I never saw this when it aired. I was actively following Cartoon Network, and I mean, granted, it was like on the verge of CN Real.
I think it was during
CN Real.
Yeah, I think it was during CN Real.
So maybe that's why. Maybe I just tuned out entirely. This came out when I was making YouTube videos. That's a weird thing to think about, but I was making YouTube videos.
Yeah, that's
okay.
That's what I was gonna open up with. Is I can't remember if I've seen this or not, because for some reason I remember like the muscular like Robin Hood-esque hero character.
There's another character like that earlier in Foster's.
Okay, that might be what I'm thinking of.
It's like the superhero episode.
That might be what I'm thinking of, but I also remember like the whole like 8-bit video game portion. Like I feel like I have seen this before, but I barely remember it, and I could be just misremembering a different episode. I'm not entirely sure, but
okay. Well, so a lot of people say they do remember seeing this and that it aired in Thanksgiving of 2008. Which, I mean, obviously it did air. I'm not trying to say it didn't air, but for whatever reason, both Shadow and I missed this episode. My running theory is because it aired towards the very end of Foster's existence, Foster's run on the network. It probably aired once, maybe twice, and then like never again. It's also a weird thing because it's over an hour long without commercials, so it would eat up a lot of airtime with commercials.
Yeah.
Probably like an hour and a half to 2 hours. So
yeah, because I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but I've seen the other big Foster's movie way more times than this.
Everyone remembers Good Will Hunting. Everyone remembers. It got a float in oh no, it didn't get a float. What am I thinking? The promos had Will as like a balloon or something, right?
Yeah, I remember.
That also aired Thanksgiving.
There was also, I believe, there was also a July 4th Foster's Marathon, and it aired during that too. And so, like, you know, I find it weird that I have like no recollection of this, because I feel like this should have been a bigger deal, and maybe it was a big deal and I just missed it. But this was also before I really started avoiding TV, because like 2008. I was still hardcore into watching cartoons, especially Cartoon Network, even though it was going through that kind of rough patch in its life. You know, I still was tuning in for shows frequently. Chowder, Flapjack, Total Drama Island, stuff that was on around then. And I was still watching Foster's for sure. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just been a while, but...
if you saw this originally, my question is... Was this in widescreen? Was this made in widescreen? Because it looks like it was made in widescreen. When unfortunately, the versions on both Hulu and HBO Max are 4:3, not widescreen. But the way that things are framed, to me, I mean, it's also cropped weirdly in the screenshot. I don't know what happened.
Oh my gosh!
But,
sorry, keep going.
Yeah, but like, am I crazy, or does this seem like something that was made in widescreen? I know wasn't some of Foster's made in widescreen?
I think some of it was, yeah. And I think
I
you're
don't
right
know.
that because I felt that way too watching this. There were definitely some scenes where it just
It
felt
looked
like it was
cramped.
squished. Yeah, exactly. Seasons 5 and 6 were animated in widescreen according to Toon J.
Okay.
Okay. All right, that's what I thought. Also, because Toonjay had mentioned this aired the same day as the Foster's Home Rickroll at the Macy's
Yes.
Thanksgiving Day Parade. That's why I don't remember seeing this, because I was at that parade when that Rickroll happened.
Oh,
Now,
man.
okay, so it's crazy. I didn't actually see the Rickroll part, but I saw that float going down in the parade with the Foster's characters on it, because in 2008 on Thanksgiving, I went with a few of my family members. We went to New York for a few days because I have an aunt who lives there, and we saw her and we did some fun stuff. But we watched the parade from an Applebee's, funnily enough. And yeah, I distinctly remember that float going by and seeing the Foster's characters roaming around on it. And I've always been like, whenever anyone brings up that Foster's Rickroll, it's like, sure, I didn't see the Rickroll in person, but I saw that float in person with my own eyes, and that's just like a really cool thing. So,
Wow.
like as soon as I
Wasn't
saw
it?
Toonjay's comment, I was like, oh my gosh, like I can talk about this. So, yeah,
That's wild.
I know, it's crazy. I didn't even know they Rickrolled at the time, and I was into that meme, but like, because I was way ahead of where the actual main
Right.
section is when they show it on TV. But yeah.
How is it watching that live? I've always kind of wanted to go, but also not really, because, like, a lot
So
of people.
yeah, so like I said, I was in an Applebee's because I went with like an organized tour group essentially. So this tour group had connections, and they essentially rented out the Applebee's for our tour group. So all of us just sat in this building. It was maybe 7, 8, 9 floors up. We were basically eye level with the balloons. And we sat at the tables by the
Wow.
windows and just got to look down and watch it while we ate. And it was
Dude.
awesome. It was fantastic.
That
Like,
sounds amazing. You didn't
once-
have to be a part of, like, the crazy crowd, but you still got a good view.
yes, once in a lifetime
Oh.
opportunity. I wish I still had photos, because this was back before I had a smartphone, so it was on my old like flip phone or whatever, and I couldn't really transfer them or anything. But like, oh my gosh, it was once in a lifetime experience. I remember like this was also back when like Hannah Montana and iCarly were big. So like when my sister saw, because I'm pretty sure Miley Cyrus, I don't know if Miranda Cosgrove was there, but Miley Cyrus was definitely in that parade. I remember my sister went wild when we saw her from like, you know, just a couple stories up in the air. It was crazy. It was definitely an awesome experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool, dude. Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about this special now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, it's just
We gotta-
it aired
yeah.
on the same day, so it's related.
Okay, that explains why you didn't see it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it might also explain why I didn't see it when it aired, because it's like on a holiday, I'm not necessarily glued to the TV. You know what I mean? Like spending time with family and all that.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Shadow made eye contact with Rick Astley when it happened.
I think I don't know if he was even on the float until like they got to that main section, because I don't remember if I saw him or not.
You don't think he was just chilling in the house?
I see, that's what I think. I think he might have just been hidden in the house the whole way until the TV event, but I don't know for sure, because again, I was like what, 12? And I also didn't know he was a part of the Foster's Home float. Like, who's gonna know that? So I wasn't directly looking for him. I don't know. Maybe he was and I don't remember, but yeah.
Interesting.
My mom
right.
might have photos saved somewhere that I could try finding at some point, but yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is an episode. No, actually, this is. I'm gonna be honest here, and I think this is one of my favorite episodes of Foster's. Like,
Wow, okay.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if you know this about me. I've been very quiet about this opinion. Okay. I cannot stand Blue Regard Q-Kazoo, and I've heard Craig McCracken's explanation. I've heard people's defense. I don't care, because Blue takes over the show in so many episodes. Yes, you need antagonistic characters to drive storylines, of course, but like Blue is the focus point of so many episodes that his behavior is just so irritating. But in this special, he's not the protagonist. The protagonist is Frankie, and of the other group, when we switch perspective, it's really Mac that's kind of pushing them to find Frankie. Blue's there. Blue makes offhanded comments, and you know what? I don't care because it's fine in moderation. Every so often, Blue calling Frankie fat or whatever is something I can ignore. He's not the main focus of this episode by a long stretch, so it's great. It has all of the charm and things to love about Foster's, and very little of the Blue factor of it all. Mm-hmm. And also Frankie is a top tier character. Who doesn't love Frankie? And a whole episode that's a whole movie that's designed to kind of address the fact that she's treated very poorly in the series by virtually everyone, especially Harriman. And kind of like a conscious effort that people are going to treat her better after this is like great. It's a really, really great thing. Not to mention all the imaginative sequences and everything that go along with it. What do you think?
So that last point is what I like most of all about this special above all else. Is there are a lot of episodes where Frankie just gets beaten down over and over again, and there are especially bad episodes like, oh my god, I can't even stand the Imposter's Home for Make 'em Up Pals episode because she gets beaten up so much in that episode and there's no satisfying payoff. It's just miserable. So the fact that this episode is another situation where Frankie, sure, she gets beaten down, but just the fact that the ending resolution is, of all characters, Mr. Harriman coming to realize that Frankie actually does a fantastic job running the home, knows what she's doing, and he's been demeaning to her for so long. For him to come around on that, it's so gratifying to watch that. I absolutely love, the fact that Frankie finally takes a stand and she's like, you know what? I'm done. I like it here. I'm treated fairly and I'm having a good time. And the fact that she's able to resolve the final conflict just by doing what she knows best, like she clearly runs that house, Oh
yeah.
So yeah, I absolutely agree. I think this is a fantastic episode. I love a lot of the different elements here. I love the imaginary friends concept. I love the concept of a friend that can just move from body to body and take over it just by moving its face around. I love, the different, I guess,
video
areas.
Candy areas.
Yeah, I love the settings where we travel to so many different places. The desert. I love the idea, like the concept of like how they trap the imaginary friend by putting them in the hot desert where it can't move onto the sand because it hurts. I thought that was a clever way to kind of trap the villain. There's a lot of cool things. And then like the ending climax where it's just this giant amalgamation of a bunch of different things. And like the environment is getting obliterated in this crazy like animated sequence. Like there's a lot going on here that's really, really good. I definitely enjoy this episode as well.
And knowing the twist, because I didn't see this when it aired, but I think 2-3 years ago, sometime during the recast, I think I talked about it on the recast. I basically rewatched Foster's, and I got to this, and I'm like, wow, this is like a standout, amazing thing. Mm-hmm. I had a point. I forgot what it was, but
that's all right.
But yeah, no. Yeah. My point is just having seen this not too crazy long ago, and knowing what the twist is, that there are no other sentient beings in the toy chest. It's all just basically like AI that can do simplistic things, and then the only one with a face who can actually talk and do things is the main imaginary friend. Knowing that twist and watching it, it still all makes sense. And there's still elements of this that I didn't remember, like the tantrum at the very end and the kind of like the final boss aspect of it all, which is kind of funny. This and the first episode, the movie, kind of also have that thing where it's like, well, we got to do a final boss fight. It's not a video game, but the character's got to fight a boss.
Yep. Yeah. I also really...
Did you know about the twist, Shadow?
So I figured it out just by...
Yeah, they give you hints.
Yeah, I figured it out when the Robin Hood dude had a face, and I was like, okay, well, nothing else in this area ever had a face before, so that's pretty obvious, because...
And he has one tooth, that the one fang, just like all the other, everything else he inhabits.
Yeah, and I think if they wanted to throw a bit more of a curveball, they could have played it up that character was a different imaginary friend that had been trapped there for a long time or something. I think that might have been able to play it up a bit more as a secret, but I don't think it was trying to make it as big of a reveal as it was. But I'm just saying that was definitely a possibility. Either way, I still think it's a good twist, and I like the concept of the friend. Like I said, it definitely gives it. It's a very creative idea for something, for an actual imaginary friend, because most imaginary friends, you think of them as having a body. The fact that this kid came up with this concept where the imaginary friend is just a face, but it inhabits an entire world, is like a really unique idea, because I don't think there's any other episode that even comes close to doing something like that. It feels like it's a fresh take on the imaginary friend concept by introducing a new element for this big grand movie, especially so close to the end of the series.
Here's a dumb question for debate here. So the toy chest, is that an imaginary friend? Is that an extension of the imaginary friend's powers? Or is it just some otherworldly toy chest?
Yeah, I would make the argument, given the show's rules, that the toy chest is its body, given the fact that it's ticklish. I would argue that because it's ticklish, the toy box is essentially part of its body, but everything inside is also its body as well. So that would be the case I'd make.
Within the show's universe, the home itself is also like a semi-magical thing that a lot of people also try to argue if it's an imaginary friend itself, which would kind of make sense. But there's nothing to really suggest that other than that it's like crazy, like all the early episode where Blue and Matt get lost in it, like really implies that there's just no sense to the house at all, and it's just like crazy. Would you like to talk about the peeved off controversy?
Yeah,
people are bringing it up in the chat.
Yeah, I see that. This is news to me. I had no idea that was actually a thing.
I don't know, because listening to it's a quick line that Blue says. I don't know, dude. It's probably peeved, to be honest with you. Probably someone at the closed captioning company, because they farm these out to companies to do closed captioning, and whoever did it probably heard it one way and put it that way. And when you see that text on the screen with what Blue says, it does sound more like he's saying the other thing. But I don't know. I don't think that was the intention, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't know if you remember. There was also another thing with there's a Fairly Odd Baby, actually, where Jorgen says, Dawn, but he says it in like a really over-the-top way, and people thought that he was saying a curse word, and it's like, if you hear it that way, if you choose to hear it that way, you'll hear it that way. But like, I don't know, man.
It's the same. Like the thing I always think of is that Billy and Mandy scene with Yogi Bear, and he's like, "Give me that basket," but basket sounds like a different word because of the way he says it.
Right.
Because that's the one that always pops in my mind. Because I used to hear it a different way when I was younger.
Yeah.
But
people, I don't know. People really like this topic, so.
Fair enough.
I like when Dexter's Lab said crap.
I like the one where they actually swore and had to bleep it, and then they,
that's true. And then Pan Pizza bullied them into releasing it.
Yep.
Or whatever he did. Is there any Powerpuff Girls episodes where they swear? Actually, isn't there...
No, but that reminds me. One thing I really liked, because I got to bring it up, is when the first Not Frankie showed up, and what was on her shirt?
Donnie.
Oh, yeah, right.
The unicorn.
Foster's Home predicted the Powerpuff reboot?
No, it was Mojo Jojo.
I love that.
Because, yeah. Because technically this is the first thing we're talking about that has the Powerpuff Girls in it.
It is.
It's on Frankie's shirt. It's like one of those things that, like, it's real obvious, but there's gonna be a million like clickbait articles out there with big red circles.
Did you
They're like,
know?
Yeah, you'll never guess what was on Frankie's shirt the whole time.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I think that's over. That sort of stuff's ridiculous. Absolutely.
Because, like, you know, blue is actually the color blue.
What?
Oh gosh.
Did you know that Coco is actually a plane crash on an island?
Oh, at least that one's a little more obscure, but like still.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I don't know. I think. Yeah, no, I just think that stuff's ridiculous. But, anyways. Oh
Yes.
my goodness.
Um.
All right.
Yeah, I don't. They're really. The only things I could find that I didn't like are nitpicks. Like this is just the dumb thing, but the ball pit I thought looked really stupid. The way that the show is animated, I believe it was just a few lines of repeating ball patterns that were moving across the screen.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't actually look like a randomized ball pit. It looked well exactly like I described. Like it looked copy and pasted, and it likely was. And it wouldn't be such a problem except the ball pit is on screen for so long. My nitpicks. Otherwise, I mean, the style in the show is something that I always really am astounded by. Like, it's such a visually distinct show.
Mm-hmm.
And even now seeing like Kid Cosmic, which is in a similar style, Foster still like stands out as its own thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Yeah, Cartoon Network pushed Foster's a few times for the Emmys, and I think that our style is probably why. Because,
Yeah.
like, a lot of Cartoon Network shows in the 2000s were definitely, like, visually distinct, but this one was much more distinct than, like, everything else.
Oh yeah.
Except Samurai Jack, I guess, which was also visually distinct. But, yeah, no, I think it makes sense for them to push something like this,
Yeah.
given that, because it's very creative in what it can do, animation-wise.
Absolutely.
I mean,
What
it's not
else?
often you see a show where characters don't have like outlines at all, or most of them don't, anyways.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's crazy how like simplistic of a design Blue is, and yet
he's so
like it's
versatile with what he
iconic.
does, you know.
Yeah.
Like his arms, like they can move his body in pretty much any shape they want or need at any given time because of that.
Mhm.
You know, it really takes advantage of the whole cartoony nature. You know, someone like Eduardo
Mhm.
isn't really as malleable with the way his body moves, especially with his giant hulking arms. But Blue, they can have him get really thin or like squash down, you know,
Yeah.
all sorts of different things like that. So
Mhm. Yeah, it's wild. Anyone remember that game where you make an imaginary friend and got to do stuff in Foster's home? Yes, I loved that game. I
was that
loved that
that
game.
was the big fat awesome house party, right? Was that what it
Was
was
that what it
called?
was called? I think so. I remember going on CartoonNetwork.com like every day and
Mm-hmm.
refreshing it and like
I
being like, oh,
used,
did they do updates? Because like they did, I think one expansion, and
yeah.
my stupid brain was like, yeah, they're gonna keep updating it, and then they never did again. Like it was like one or two major updates, and that was
Mm-hmm.
it. But it was so fun. There was a lot of mini games to do and like things to collect, and there's like an arcade with mini games, and
Yeah.
yeah, you got to create your own friend.
Yeah, I used to love going. I'd do the same thing. I'd go on Cartoon Network's website like all the time. I did that for like a decade of my life, and there were so many
Yeah.
fun things to do there.
Oh man.
Yeah, good times.
Absolutely. Did you? So is Foster's gonna come up again in our award show
Yes, it
here?
is.
Oh boy.
It is.
Oh, is it? Is it? It's gonna be okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not surprised. But did they ever nominate like a regular episode?
A regular episode. Let me skim through this list really quick. I don't. Oh, yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Uh oh.
In
Do I want to know which
2006.
one?
I won't say, but in 2006 they did nominate an episode.
Okay.
So,
All right.
yep.
Yeah, I don't have a lot else to say. I think it's just really phenomenal all the way through. I like. There's also like a little subplot with Eduardo and Blue, like Eduardo, trying to become more brave
Mm-hmm.
and be the hero. Like there's just like a lot of little subtle things in this that I think work very well. And then yeah, the versatility of like they'll be in like a candy what is it, like a pixie stick field one moment, and then they're in a big thing of silly putty the next, and then they're in a video game chase sequence through Mario. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's like a lot to it, and I also really like, it's definitely subtle, but you can tell that like when the imaginary friend is like misleading them and everything where when he's trying to do like you could tell he's kind of enjoying it because he's playing with them, which is all
Yeah.
he's ever wanted is to play with friends.
Hmm.
So you can tell that like you could be like, well, why doesn't he just like trap them then and there, or why doesn't he just kill them, or like why doesn't he do that? It's like because he clearly is having fun coming up with imaginative ways to keep them away. Like
Yep.
it's a part of the whole thing is that he feels alone, and if he has these people to play with, he isn't really alone.
Hmm.
Um
Right.
mhm. All right. I'm ready to
Okay.
move on.
All right, we can move on to the second nominee for this category, which was Afro Samurai Resurrection, starring Samuel L. Jackson. The dubbed version, again, specifying that. Because this is an anime.
Hey,
is-
Shadow.
Yeah.
Uh, how does Rick like to watch his anime?
How?
Wubba lubba dub dub.
Oh my god. Oh, I should have seen that coming. I walked right into that.
I turned myself into a weebordy. I watch anime now.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god.
Okay, sorry.
Oh. Okay,
Okay,
so chat, correct me if I'm wrong, if any of you know, but as far as I'm aware, I haven't looked into the 90s, but as far as I'm aware, this is the only anime in the history of the Emmys that's ever been nominated for anything animation-wise. Except, I haven't looked at short form, but most anime isn't short
so
form anyways.
weird.
But I believe this
Yeah,
is
what-
the only anime content at all that was ever nominated.
Well, it's because it was a joint production with like Spike, the TV network.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
I think, yeah.
I don't know. Is it because it aired on American television? Like, is that the reasoning?
I mean, I don't know.
I guess if that was the case, why wouldn't they nominate like Pokemon or something? Like,
yeah, I feel like I probably should have looked into this production a little bit more because it would make sense if it is partially an American production. That might be one of the stipulations, is they don't look at foreign content because it's like this is strictly
Well, they do,
an American.
except no, that's right, because like the Ricky Gervais show,
Mhm.
like it was an HBO production, which is in America,
Yeah.
even though it's based on a British podcast.
It also makes sense given one of next week's nominees, but we'll get to that. But I'm
Yes.
thinking about that, and that also would make sense. But I don't know. Let's see, because I'm looking at it's. I mean, I'm looking this up while we keep talking. But
Yeah, I'm looking up too. It says it would air on the Paramount Network.
yeah, it aired on Paramount in January 2009.
I don't know.
okay.
I don't get it. But it did debut on Spike, so it did air. It debuted in America, or at least it aired in America. I don't know. But Tara Strong's in this.
Yes, Tara Strong is in it. Absolutely.
Phil
So
Lamar,
is
John
yeah,
DiMaggio,
yep.
Ray Delisle.
Mhm.
It's like Jeff Bennett. A lot of like weird non-anime people.
and
are in
Samuel L.
this.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Which,
Dude, what isn't Samuel L. Jackson in? He's in the Marvel Universe, he's in Star Wars, he's in Quentin Tarantino movies, and he's in Afro Samurai.
yeah, it's crazy. Oh
I
my
just-
gosh. Well,
Someone's
you-
saying Princess Mononoke was nominated.
so do you know who else was in this movie?
Lucy Liu?
No. Well, yes, but Mark
Who?
Hamill. Yeah.
Really?
Yes, he was.
Also-
He was the Bin character, the weird deformed mask thing.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a odd cast, but
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of well-known people if you know the animation industry.
oh yeah, Greg Eagles, because he does Grimm's voice for one of the characters.
Yes. Yuri Lowenthal,
Mm-hmm.
James Arnold Taylor, like
There's a
these are-
lot of
these are
people. Yeah.
right? Okay. So so this takes place after the anime Afro Samurai, and from the best that I can understand of this story, it stars a guy named Afro, who these bad guys are taking his father's remains and reanimating them in order to torture him, and they tell him to go and get a headband which, as best as I can tell, isn't a magical headband. It's just the headband. And so Afro goes and fights a bunch of people to get the headband, and then has to fight his reanimated father, as well as the bad girl, voiced by Lucy Liu. Or no, he doesn't have to fight her, but she's there. And then also, there's a guy wearing a dead mouse head, but it's a bear for some reason. Basically, and he was Afro's friend, but then turned enemy, but then turned friend at the end of the movie. And he is basically if Palpatine took Anakin and instead of giving him a cool Darth Vader mask, gave him a stupid dubstep helmet.
That's a very Japanese thing to do.
Also, and I had to look this one up because I wasn't sure. I wanted to confirm it. There's a white-haired guy that follows Afro,
Yep.
who's named Ninja. No relation to the Twitch streamer, probably.
Well, this was before he was born, so.
Yeah. Also, he's older than we are.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I know.
he also voiced by Samuel L. Jackson, and heavily implied to simply just be like a manifestation of Afro's humanity, inner thoughts, commentary. I don't know, but he doesn't really exist because no one else interacts with him at all. And he's there for comic relief, sort of, as well as narration, because Afro, he does talk, but he talks about as much as Samurai Jack. I guess it's a samurai thing.
Yeah, he's a hardened warrior.
Yeah. So coming into this without knowing what it was very strange, I will say. The things that I liked about it were, I think that the art style is really cool. Like, you know, it's a well animated anime. And not only that, but there's like these stylistic touches, like the hair is kind of like very wispy and fire-like. It moves very satisfyingly, as it should if you're called Afro Samurai, right? There's also like everything is kind of desaturated, except every so often there'll be like a color like yellow or blue that'll really pop, and that was a cool touch. The battle scenes in this are really great, like really great. There's a lot of really cool sword fighting and stuff, and the film features a hip hop rap backing track that is definitely unlike anything I've ever seen in terms of like anime soundtrack. Like the soundtrack is good and very hip hoppy. And very cool. Like the whole thing is basically this weird mix of Japanese culture and black culture. And I'm qualified to talk about neither, but I will. But yeah, like I like the style of it all. That's what I liked about this. What I didn't like about this was the fact that it's really not newcomer friendly in any way. You know, I understand that a lot of the stuff that's nominated is like series finales and stuff, but like since it is a movie, you would think that maybe they'd spend a little more time like trying to actually explain what is going on here. Because again, I don't know what the deal with the headbands is. Apparently, people fought over them in the series.
I can kind of weigh
in.
So I can kind of weigh in on it.
Okay.
Basically, what the headband signifies is there's two headbands. There's a number 1 samurai and a number 2 samurai, and those headbands signify essentially the most skilled samurai currently alive.
Okay.
And so, like, the whole duel between Afro and the one kid's father, like, halfway through the film.
Surrogate father.
Yeah. That's Afro earning the title or status of number 2 samurai in the world, with number 1 obviously being possessed by the villain. So that's kind of the significance of it, and that's why there are constant references to, you know, the people who wield the headbands are constantly being sought after. You know, that's why Afro's going after. That's, you know, that's why when he has it, you know, when he has number 1, he gives number 2 to the kid, be like, come find me when you're ready, you know. That's kind of the whole idea.
Target on that kid's back, though.
Yeah, he did, because now everyone else is going for that number 2 headband. Because, yeah, and it's like, it's a whole, I guess, like a samurai code thing where you need the number 2 headband to be able to challenge the number 1 warrior, you know. It's
Makes
just
sense. I mean, that's cool. That is cool.
Like, I like that idea a lot.
I get it. You know, I'm not asking it to explain every single thing to us, because it is its own thing. It's not just made for the Emmys, but it's just like, if you're going to submit something you know, maybe have it at least have like an opening narration that explains anything at all.
Hmm.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
So
Yeah.
what's funny is
Have you seen?
so
Did you see this anime, Shadow? You seem to know something.
so I actually I ended up finding the regular series on YouTube. Someone uploaded the entire, like, I guess it's not really like a full season of a show or anything. It's like longer than a mini series, but not a full season. It's like a weird in between.
Okay.
Someone uploaded a compilation of all of it stitched together in one like 2 hour video on YouTube. And I ended up watching a little bit of it because I was curious, because I was like kind of involved I really liked this movie actually. I was engrossed in it. I liked it a lot. So I went and I watched some of the original series. I didn't get through the whole thing for time purposes. But just from what I can tell, other than some references to his father, which is very significant and established right off the bat in that series, the movie feels like it is still its own separate story.
Okay.
Like I said, I haven't gotten through the whole thing, but a lot of what happens
The
in the
Bearhead
movie,
guy, the Bearhead guy has to be in the series, right?
I didn't see him, but I only saw the
Okay.
first 2 episodes. There's, I think, 7, maybe, or 5, somewhere like that. But yeah, just in the first 2 episodes, there wasn't really anything that related to the film. So it felt like the
Okay.
film might have just been its own separate story, expanded off of some things that are referenced in the main
Hmm.
series.
Right. And they definitely mention specific things that I'm like, okay, that's
Mhm.
probably an episode. Like they talk about how there was a cyborg version, like or not a cyborg, a robot version of him that the
Mhm.
mad scientist in the movie created, and he beat him. Like that seems like something that was just in the show, which
Yeah, it might
fair
have
enough.
been. Hmm.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
where do
but
we watch this? This is on Hulu. This
it
is just on
is.
Hulu.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not anything obscure. It's on Hulu. I
Hmm.
don't know about the series, but um, yeah.
Considering that it's Funimation, I'm assuming it might also be on Funimation's app because Funimation has their own streaming service. So it might be on there too. Hmm. Excuse me.
The thing that I mean, and I like the cast as well. Samuel L. Jackson is great.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so glad that he also voices the ninja guy because if it was just Afro Samurai, I'd be like, wow, that's like you just like wasted your Samuel L. Jackson by having him voice a guy who has like 3 lines in the movie.
Hmm.
Yeah, most of them are like no. But the fact that he plays the other guy and the other guy is like he just kind of like roasts Afro half the time. The other half the time he's like over the top comic relief
He falls in the water
craziness.
and gets left to die. Yeah.
Yeah, like that was a lot of fun, and Samuel
Hmm.
brought a lot to that character.
Absolutely.
100%. I wish every anime had like an imaginary character that just makes fun of the other
Yeah.
characters.
Right.
And that's and that character is also completely necessary because, and I did a little reading myself. Afro, both in the movie and in the show, is not particularly sympathetic or likable. He also is not really like much of a personality. He is
Yeah.
a serious guy, and he has a mission, and he wants to fulfill that mission, and that's it. That's all you get out of him. He's not any more expressive than that.
Hmm.
And so having a kind of comic relief guy like point out how like, man, do you ever smile? Like saying things like that, it's like okay, that lightens it and softens it and provides a little bit of comic relief because otherwise this would just be a really grim, sad thing.
Hmm. Yeah, the most sympathy we ever really see of this character isn't even him in the present day. It's, the
Yeah.
flashbacks to when he was with the villains back when they were friends. That we kind of see a
Because of
softer
course,
side of him.
it wouldn't
Because,
be an anime if they weren't friends with the villains in the
yeah,
past.
yeah, because you see the softer side of him getting along with, again, his friend and the sister, who's like the main
Yes.
antagonist. And maybe I missed it, but was there like a reason given for why the villains like what happened between them? Because maybe I missed it, but like all that's really alluded to from what I could tell was Afro did these horrible things to the rest of them, but like was it
Yeah, I don't know.
explained like what happened or why that
It
happened?
seems
Or
to what I understand, it seems like he just murdered a bunch of people.
because
to get the headband.
that's what it sounded like to
Indiscriminately.
me, but like it didn't really clarify on that, because that's the whole thing. The main antagonist's whole motivation for all of this is to get revenge on Afro, but we don't really know why, other than
Yeah.
he harmed these people. But like, again,
I think
why did he harm them?
Maybe he put her brother in that bear thing. Maybe he. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
weird, and that's the thing. Like the things I don't like about this are the story, which is basically just anime. It's just anime, right? It's like murder
Hmm.
people, get MacGuffin, fight the big bad guy who turns out to be your dad. Like, like it's very by the numbers. And then the other thing I don't like about it is that although the fight scenes are great and there's really cool moments and things in it, there's a lot of this that's the characters kind of sitting around talking that I feel like every single time these characters talk, especially since Afro doesn't really talk back that much, I feel like every one of those scenes could be trimmed by like 4 minutes. Like,
Hmm.
it really feels like so much of it is padding because they have to stretch the animation budget so that they can make these really cool, crazy fight scenes. So you have to have a bunch of the movie where it's just nothing is happening in order to save animation budget. And so I was bored by half of this. The other half I thought was really cool and exciting and fun. Like, I liked it. I'm not a big anime person. I've said this before. But like I think I overall enjoyed this, but I don't want to see it again. And I was kind of reaching for my phone to look at other stuff when the boring parts were happening, because that's kind of how I felt. I felt like, you know what, like, I don't really care about these long. Like, at one point, the villain lady is like talking about like, oh, the body is being remade from nano flesh and xanoids and dude, and I'm just like, I don't care. I don't care. You used scientific mumbo jumbo to regenerate a dead guy from his chin, like from his jaw.
Hmm.
Like, you don't have to explain to me what's happening here. That's not the focus of the story. Why, like, what is the point of this monologue? And there really, I don't think there is much of any other than just filling time.
Unfortunately, that's kind of the nature of most anime, though. Is it's
Oh yeah,
usually
I'm
there's a
aware.
lot
I'm
of
fully aware.
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of exposition heavy scenes that balance the action because again, like the animated sequences of the fights, whether it's him fighting the second best samurai or the final fight with his father or any other scenes in between, like all of those sequences are great, absolutely gorgeous animation, which is what you kind of expect
Yeah.
from kind of the best anime. In terms of like how actual like anime fans view this film, I have no idea. I don't have that perspective of whether or not this is considered like a beloved miniseries and movie that anime fans adore everywhere, or if people sleep on this or what. Because again, I'm also not like huge into anime. There's only a couple series I've really ever watched, so I'm not like super ingrained in that culture. But I think, at least from what I saw, I really did enjoy this quite a lot. So,
Cool.
yeah, there's a lot to like here. I think that the narrative has some missing components that don't completely tie everything together. There is definitely a lot of inferring that is being asked of the viewer. So
Yeah, well, like for one, the Darth Vader bad guy, like,
mhm.
at the end, Afro basically dies just about, and then when that happens, the barehead bad guy who has been silent and has been like a part of this plot from the start of the movie, all of a sudden is like, oh, yeah, no, Afro is my friend. I should fight for him. But
Mhm.
there's no dialogue that explains why he changed his mind or anything. Just that Afro's seeming death was enough to turn him, which fair enough, but I don't think that was really conveyed well. Maybe something in the series explains that, but to me it was just like, well, we need some excuses. How's Afro gonna get out of this one? Oh, one of the villains just like isn't a villain anymore.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Invader Pest says they're an anime fan. It's not exactly beloved, but it's pretty well known and well liked. Afro Samurai was decently well known in the anime community, mainly due to Sam Jackson. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's definitely like a big draw of this. Definitely the cast, and I can see why it was nominated, because between the all-star cast, which, let's be honest, a lot of the the voters seem to be a little shallow.
Yep.
And B, the animation itself is beautiful, even if you don't understand like anything that's going on. The actual animation of the fight scenes, the style of it, everything, the hip hop music, like it all comes together to create like a pretty unique piece of media.
Mhm.
That feels like a bunch of different kind of like cultures blending, and then that's cool. I think that's really cool.
Mhm.
So, although I can't say it like totally came together for me, I kind of feel like it was more style over substance. Style is still cool. Style can certainly win you awards.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, let's see. Carmine Knight says, to my knowledge, Afro Samurai is pretty well liked among anime people who enjoy action type things like this. I think it's good at showing its hand in regards to the this is what you're getting, have fun. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's violent, it's adult and mature. You know, there's scenes at very adult clubs, um, and it's very like dark in terms of the hero, quote
Yep.
unquote hero, just does go around murdering people pretty easily. There's no emotion to it. There's not really many happy moments. Like the best you get is kind of like comic relief joking, but that's not like a heartwarming moment, you know?
Yeah.
Um so yeah, you definitely have to like violent anime, which some people do, some people can't stand it.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I think that's Afro Samurai.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. Just a friendly reminder again, vote it down in the description. Go click that link and go vote to tell us which one of those two were your favorites. Um, so we mentioned it last week, but the Avatar finale came out within this time period and somehow wasn't nominated here. How did that
How?
happen, Shadow?
Yeah,
How?
what the
In
heck,
what
dude?
world? In what world
This
was
one,
that not nominated?
this one apparently.
I cannot fathom. Is it because
Okay, well,
no?
no, before you even offer a possibility, Avatar has been nominated for an Emmy in,
Good.
in previous years. So yeah,
Yeah.
why wasn't it nominated? There's
I,
there's no excuse.
it's the mystery of this hour or more category in which we have no idea. Some years there's like 3 or 4 nominees. Some year there's 2. Some years there's none. They discontinued it.
Yeah, and
It, like
that's the other thing. Like, why do you think they discontinued this category other than they couldn't be bothered?
yeah. I my guess is that the people voting probably just couldn't be bothered to watch things so long.
Cuz yeah, that's my guess too. I don't know
Yeah.
like what other reason there would be. But
I don't know.
yeah.
Didn't we determine that Underfist was also in this time
Yes,
period?
yes we did.
The Billy and Mandy spinoff Underfist, which I haven't seen it in a while, but I do distinctly remember it being very like very interesting and unique and its own thing, and it kind of like tries to meld a bunch of these side characters of Billy and Mandy into a team. Like I'm not gonna say it was amazing because I don't fully remember, but I do know it was something I think should have been nominated. Um,
Hmm.
you know, did Foster's deserve it more than this? Probably, but like the same studio can nominate several things, so that's not really a
Yeah,
reason.
it's not a restriction.
No.
Exactly.
Um, yeah. Sinoshub is asking what makes you prefer cartoons over anime in general. I don't think I really have the preference in particular. It's just what I grew up watching. like I grew up watching some anime too, but it's like just a lot more cartoons. It
Hmm.
it it comes to me, a lot of it comes down to just like I don't watch something generally unless it's kind of like suggested and recommended and all this other stuff. Like I don't have the kind of time where I can sit down and just watch like 10 shows that I've never heard of just for fun. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
in order to watch something, it has to come either highly recommended or attached like a creator that I already know and like or yeah, recommended. So like anime, sometimes I get anime recommendations, but the people hang around aren't really anime people. And the thing about anime is, for the most part, as an American, you have to seek it out. It's not something, it airs only a little bit on American television,
Yeah.
and there's only so much of it that's on American streaming services, the anime streaming service Crunchyroll notwithstanding.
Yep.
So it's not. Oh, and Invader Pez has a good point too about anime. The other thing about anime, just like it's either really short or really long, and that's
Hmm.
generally not how I like my shows. I kind of like that nice middle ground where it's a few seasons, but not, One Piece 8,000 episodes or whatever.
Hmm.
Like, not all of them are that long, but a lot of them are kind of short.
Yeah,
They're
oh,
little.
there are a lot of anime out there that are one season long.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Hmm.
So American TV just generally tends to cater to my interests a little bit more. But I'm absolutely not against watching anime if it comes highly recommended. I watched what was it, the A Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I watched that not too long ago, only
Hmm.
like a few months ago, because I liked the original Full Metal Alchemist, and everyone kept telling me try Brotherhood, try Brotherhood. So I did, and I
Hmm.
enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Um,
my girlfriend and I are heavily invested in My Hero Academia. That's kind of the big one that we're watching right now. So
nice.
yeah,
Well, your girlfriend's
she's way more into anime than I am. But I'm way more into Western cartoons than she is, so it kind of balances.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Um, so yeah, it really isn't like a conscious decision of like I don't like anime. It's more just it's just not what I watch a lot of the time for
Hmm.
whatever reason. So One Piece is good. It's pretty short. You recommend it? All right. Yeah, sure.
Maybe the
I'll watch
four,
the
maybe the
yeah,
four kids dub is short.
Four Kids dub. Yeah, yeah. I've probably seen all of the Four Kids dub, to be honest with you.
I've
Um,
seen the intro a million times. I'll tell you that
God.
much.
Oh God.
It's how we
Uh,
started this show.
but yes, needless to say, I think Avatar would absolutely destroy anything else in this hour or more category for this year. I really, I can't fathom there'd be anything better than that. And although, yeah, it's a finale, I don't think you need to know everything about the show to understand it. You know, there's a big, bad warlord, evil overlord guy that's trying to burn everything down. One of the heroes' sister is actively, losing her mind and attacking and firing everyone around her, and her brother needs to take her down. Like, it's very easy to understand, even if you don't know the minutia of bending. And I also find, like, the debate about should Aang take a life and, like, all that other stuff, there's a lot of cool substance behind it, not just fantastic animation.
Hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
mhm. Okay.
All
So
right.
what won the Emmy this year?
All right. So the winner was Foster's Home, Destination Imagination. Won out over
Yeah,
Afro Samurai.
that's not really
That it
surprising.
doesn't surprise me at all. I would
The
have been
thing is,
absolutely dumbfounded if Afro Samurai won, not because of the quality between the two, but because of the voters here that we're keeping in mind. You know.
yeah, I mean, like, Afro Samurai is definitely the more out there of the two. Foster's is a very like easy to understand narrative, fun, colorful animation, references, all that stuff. Whereas, again, not everyone's into violent anime. Like there are some people that are just completely turned off by
Yeah.
all the blood and all the. And I that's completely understandable.
Hmm. Foster's
I
is
guess like
way
yeah,
more appealing to a contemporary audience.
yes, to a wide audience of
Hmm.
of anyone who votes versus Afro Samurai, where like with a lot of anime, the niche section of people that like it generally tend to, like any given show, will really love it.
Yeah.
But everyone else is kind of like left scratching their head or drawn to it for whatever reason.
Right. Exactly. Apparently,
Um,
the art director for Afro won an Emmy anyway, so it still got
nice,
something. Good. I'm
nice.
glad.
Which
I'm glad.
yes, it
That is
would
well
definitely deserve
deserved.
that. But
That is well deserved.
can we talk about the ridiculousness of trying to compare these two?
They
Like
they aren't. They
you
aren't
can.
comparable.
In what where I can say which one I liked more, right? And I liked the Foster's one more than I liked Afro Samurai. But like, how can you compare a gritty, I mean, it's literally like Foster's is one of the most colorful animated shows you can find, like visually, and Afro Samurai is one of the most desaturated shows you can find. Like, it's just bonkers that this is in the same category. And we've said this a lot with the main half hour category, and just that like if I had it my way, I would split animation up into three categories. I would say best technical animation, like just the animation itself, right? Ignore the story, ignore anything else other than just the technical aspect of which one employed the most impressive animation style, right? I'd
Hmm.
have that category. I'd have a category for best story writing. It doesn't necessarily have to be a drama, but most likely either like a drama or like The Simpsons or something like that, where it's narrative based.
Yep.
And a third category for comedy. Just what's the funniest, right?
Hmm.
I think that makes absolute sense. You can submit whatever you want to any of them, but like split it up into technically impressive, story writing, comedy writing.
Hmm. That makes sense.
I mean,
Because
and don't limit it to time. I don't care if you give me something that's 11 minutes that's hilarious. Then sure, it can be compared to something that's an hour and a half and is supposed to be funny but isn't very funny.
yeah,
I think you can compare technically. You can definitely compare like an hour and a half thing to an 11-minute thing of which one is more visually impressive.
because it's a lot more. It's a lot more clear on what you're judging the nominees on. Because the problem with this category, as we've said before, is there are so many different aspects to an animated show that you can't just lump it all together in one group and say, okay, this is the best one, because there's so many different factors to consider. And with everything else related to television, actors are separate from directing, is separate from costume, is separate from, I think there's a title card design category, if I'm not mistaken. Like, there's so many different aspects for all these other TV shows, but anything that's animated, it's all just one thing. And it's like, that is absolutely unreasonable.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, it is sad. It's very sad. Absolutely.
All right. So we can go ahead and see what won this year on our poll.
Okay. I have a feeling I already know, but I'm curious to see what this ratio is.
Oh my God. Once Upon a Time in Townsville.
Don't even joke about that.
No, that wasn't an option. But
Good.
with 15% of the votes, of 349 votes, Afro Samurai Resurrection comes in second, and with 85%, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Destination Imagination.
That was a clean sweep.
Not surprising, considering the demographics.
Mm-hmm. Seems unanimous.
Yeah.
I feel like the only way Afro Samurai would win is if Afro Samurai fans were the ones voting. Otherwise, I feel like Foster's would win out in every other group.
Yeah.
So.
Largo won.
Oh, what? No, I'll never.
I got the title wrong, isn't it? It's Once Upon a Townsville, right?
Yes, Once Upon a Townsville. Yes.
Excuse me. I gotta brush up. Oh, don't worry, Shadow. Those titles will never leave your head.
They won't.
Forever.
I still have
Forever.
the entire. Dude, I still have the entire series' episode order memorized. Wow. Name a season and episode number right now.
All right, season 2, episode 12.
Season 2, episode 12. Oh my God, it's Take Your Kids to Doomsday. I thought you picked Muscle Cup for a second, and I was so nervous, but that's episode 11.
2J says season 3, episode 28.
Season 3, episode 28. That is... Oh, shoot. That's either... I think that's The Spoon.
Oh. The Spoon.
I think it's The Spoon. There is no season 4.
Season 11, episode 2. Alright, so... With all that out of the way, let's talk about the 2021 Emmys!
Oh boy! Alright.
Yeah. So, Mr. Streak, would you like to announce to the world what got nominated for 2021?
No, I don't want to, because we're going back to this awful, awful trash. Oh, just when we thought we were free, we get roped back into this garbage.
So it's worth saying that it's worse than Shadow is describing, because as of 2021, kids shows are officially banned.
Yes.
From the half-hour or more category. They are flat out. If they are an 11-minute show, they can go for the 11-minute category. If they're a half-hour show, they are done. No chance. Right? Your favorite show? No. Sorry. Can't go on there.
It's got to be adult.
Yep. Glitch checks? Nah. Kipo? Nah. Who needs any of that stuff, right? Like the adult. Let's just nominate the same stuff every year. Mm-hmm. Every year, guys. Oh, I don't know why. I can't tell you why, other than the fact that, I don't know, maybe the Emmys are a bunch of,
hacks.
It's a bunch of nonsense. Maybe what I've been saying all along, in that award shows are meaningless, and the fact that in fact, the fact that most people still take it seriously and act as if an Emmy award means anything is ludicrous because they don't. They generally don't mean anything.
Not at all.
All right, here we go. What are the nominees? Wait, hang on. Before you say them, if anyone hasn't seen, go ahead. Guess what shows. Guess what shows.
Yeah, guess.
I'll give you a hint.
5.
All of them except for one of them are shows that were nominated. All of them but one are shows that have been nominated at least twice in the past.
And yeah, we've talked about them. We've talked about all but one of these shows. Go ahead, just name them in the chat.
Yeah. Give it, Big Mouth, Bob's Burgers, Simpsons, Bob's Burgers, Big Mouth, Simpsons. Simpsons is like the free space, right?
Yeah, that's a given.
Free space on the bingo
that's an
card.
absolute given right there.
Rick and Morty? Oh no, we're not that lucky.
Yeah, we're not, unfortunately. But that is a fair guess. That is a fair guess because Rick and Morty's been nominated
South
a couple
Park?
times. Yeah.
South Park isn't in it because they're doing 1 hour specials. Oh, it doesn't matter. It can be half hour or more.
Yeah.
This hour-long category was only in the 2000s. They got rid of it. So now an animation category is anything. The category is anything adult animated an hour or more.
Yeah,
you got them all. You guys got them all. You've already got them all. But go ahead.
All right. So the 5 nominees for 2021, which we're gonna have to talk about in the future, is first we got Bob's Burgers. What a surprise! Great screen cap pie. I love that.
Well, name the episode title because it seems awful. It seems awful.
You want to know how awful this episode is? I mean, I know you shouldn't judge an episode by its title, but this episode is literally called Worms of Enrearment. It's like endearment.
How many episodes about a character's butt are we gonna have? How many? Too many.
We're going back. This is a step backwards in every stretch of the imagination.
That's Gene, if you were wondering.
I would take a Robot Chicken Star Wars special over this any day of the week.
Yeah,
Any day of the week. All right. Next
up.
Funny. Well, speaking of butts, let's move on to the second show, which is Big Mouth.
Oh Lord.
With the new me, which I can only imagine what that's about.
Well, as someone who had to grab the screenshot, I can tell you, it involves a trans character, so certainly they're going to treat this character with all of the respect and nuance that the character and the topic deserves, right? Right?
I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. All right, so after that, we have our only glimmer of hope, in my opinion, with Gendy Tartakovsky's Primal. Plague of Madness is the episode.
Yes.
This is literally the only saving grace here. This is the only thing that I have any hope for.
An artistically valid thing going on here. This is like a passion project animated by very few people that is mostly silent, like featuring fantastic animation and amazing visual storytelling, right? And we're comparing it to Big Mouth and Bob's Burgers. Go on, what's next?
After that, we have South Park, the pandemic special, because we got to talk about, timely events. And then last but not least, guys, I know it blows you away every time I announce it, but we've got The Simpsons with the Dad Feelings Limited. It's about dads.
Every year.
So I just want to say right off the bat, I haven't seen any of this. If anything other than Primal blows me away, I'll eat my words, but I'm calling it right now. Primal deserves to win 100%. I haven't even seen anything else. Primal deserves to win. There's no question. If Primal doesn't win, the Emmys are hack frauds. End of story. That is my statement. This is how certain I am, okay? I'm willing to place my prediction right now. I'm going to put all of my money on Primal winning. Because Gendy has won at the Emmys many, many times before. And it's been a long time, though. So who knows? The voters might not remember. But, I want to put my faith in humanity. And if if Primal doesn't win, I have lost all hope for the future. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know, Shadow. Because on a superficial level, you got a lot going on here, right? You've got you've got an episode that deals with trans issues, right? Which is a very important and pressing
And
issue.
I'm
You know,
sure I'm sure it will
I,
do it so well.
not I'm it is genuinely an issue that's a hot topic right now. There's a lot of discussion around how to respectfully treat people and getting people the rights that they deserve. So just the fact that Big Mouth has it as a topic in the episode earns it a bunch of brownie points with you know these small-minded people who think that just because a topic is in an episode, regardless of how it's handled, like that makes it somehow brave and amazing. We've
Yeah.
also got the pandemic special of South Park, which is that's right there on the zeitgeist, baby. Everyone experienced the pandemic. Um,
Yep.
and then we have Primal, which is, if you want to be artsy, pick Primal. I love Primal. I have not seen that particular episode yet, but yeah, I mean, I think Primal should certainly win. Tunjay, thank you for the super chat. He says, I've seen The Simpsons season 32. The Dad Feelings Limited is a meh episode. The Road to Cincinnati would have been a better choice. I can tell you, I saw three-quarters of the Dad Feelings Limited, and I got so bored that I stopped watching it. I know this because when I went to take the screenshot, I saw it. The premise seemed interesting. It's about comic book guy reconnecting with his dad. However, it's just really boring. It's a lot of what modern Simpsons is. Do you it feels weird this week that we didn't talk about the Simpsons. I know we've gone a week without talking about the Simpsons,
Hmm.
but we still had Futurama. It feels weird that there was nothing this week.
Yeah.
Should we let's just pick a Simpsons episode and talk about it right now real quick? No.
All right. Okay.
Um no, but yeah, I should I give my brief opinion on some of the stuff that I've seen, or
If you
should I
want
just
to.
completely?
Like if it's
All right.
if you want to, go ahead and put your thoughts out there because I mean I just said I haven't seen hardly any of this except Primal, and I think Primal deserves the win. I haven't even seen anything else. I don't care.
Okay.
I
All
don't
right.
I don't care.
Okay.
I know that's very arrogant of me, but my expectations are so low with our past experience that I find it impossible to believe any of these other episodes could compare. But that's just me. Anyway,
Okay.
go ahead, Pine.
Um. Yeah, I mean, I just kind of said my feelings on the Dad Feelings Limited. My feelings on that were very limited, to say the least. Yeah, no, it was just kind of bland. The South Park special, I also kind of found bland. I know a lot of people seem to really like it or resonate with it, but to me, it just kind of seemed like bland. Like it wasn't offensively bad, and it wasn't. It was just. It had some good things to say. I will say there are a few themes in there that I think were really like interesting themes that people felt during the pandemic. Like I think that there is a part of that that is very, very actually relatable. But I didn't love it. Now maybe seeing it again after having like kind of refreshed my like watching other South Park episodes since this show began, maybe my opinion will change. Not really sure. And a little distance from the pandemic itself might also make my feelings on this episode change. Certainly. Um, so there's that. And then what was I haven't seen the Bob's Burgers one. I haven't seen the Big Mouth one, obviously.
Hmm.
And Primal, I've seen other episodes. I haven't seen that one yet, but Primal is just so cool. It's such a cool show. Like the reason I haven't seen all of Primal yet is just because I feel like to watch that show, I need to like set aside 30 minutes of like my complete focus
Undivided.
and
Yeah.
yeah, every like I want to watch it on my big OLED TV downstairs with the lights off, where I know no one is going to be like messaging me or bothering me. Like I hope that doesn't sound like pretentious or dumb, but it's just kind of like the way to watch this show is with no distractions.
No, yeah, no, you're not crazy at all. That is absolutely
Yeah.
what it deserves. Like that's how it deserves to be watched.
Yeah, I
100%.
saw the first episode in the theater with Gendy. Did
Yeah,
I
you've
probably
told
told
me.
this on the recast.
You've
Yeah.
told me about it, I know.
Yeah, but I was at Comic Con 2019, and it was so cool seeing that with the crowd. Like we had actually Leia and I had actually watched it like the night before because it came out on Adult Swim's website the night before. So I just seen it the night before, but like watching it a second time with a huge crowd of people hyped to watch it, and then Gendy answering questions afterwards, talking about how like just kind of how he made it and all the personal stuff and like how Adult Swim gave him basically creative freedom to do whatever he wanted. Like that was a cool experience that I'll never forget. So
Yeah, absolutely.
also the Primal episode is about a virus, so you know, take that, South Park. No, okay, so my prediction. So what?
No,
Yes.
just take that, South Park.
All right. So if we're making predictions, and I guess why not, right? That's what every other hack does out there, make predictions about the Emmys.
Yep.
So let's do it too. I would love it if Primal won. I don't think it will. I'm split on either. I think either South Park or Big Mouth are going to get it. Genuinely, I think. I feel like if Big Mouth genuinely made even a halfway decent episode about a trans kid, and trans kids especially right now, like there's a lot of debate and discussion and dogma and just kind of awfulness surrounding that subject. If Big Mouth is able to actually make like a nice statement or just like a nice episode that really kind of like respects the trans person and treats them like an actual person and not just a dumb punchline like the show treats everything. I don't know how likely that is, but I think if it happens, I think that's what will win. And if not, I think the South Park Pandemic Special, just because we mentioned it, wide appeal, right? What is a wider topic that everyone experienced? It's the pandemic. You know, everyone experienced it. Everyone can relate to that episode in some way. Whether you think it's a good episode, a bad episode, whether you think it handled the pandemic well or not, everyone can relate to it. And it sucks because I don't think that's what makes something award worthy.
No.
I don't think that makes it the best of the best. But I think if you're appealing to the masses, that's probably gonna do you pretty well in something where there's like thousands of voters where you know of all ages. Maybe, I don't know, they're probably all above like 45.
If I wanted to play it safe and not take a risk and just hope that people have sense, I would pick South Park to win it. Like that would be my second choice. Like assuming Primal doesn't win, I think it'll be South Park. But I hope that people actually try.
Yeah.
We'll see in 2 months, but yeah. September 19th, I believe, is the date they said the awards are. It's a Sunday, so we'll be able to talk about it the following Tuesday, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, that is our plan. We are going to do our episode right after the Emmys. Sometime around then. Maybe we'll do it. Well, I won't even say that. But our plan is we're not going to actually watch these episodes and talk about them until the Emmy it's announced, right? Yeah. There's no point because I don't want to do like a separate discussion. But here's our general feelings right now. Should we really quick? Well, not really quick, but should we talk about some? There has been a release. I don't know how. I guess I don't know if this is the first time they've done this, but they released everything that got submitted.
Yes.
For the animated program category. I'm gonna post a link to this right now in the announcement section of our Discord. If anyone hasn't seen it, I'm posting it right now, and I'm gonna pin it. So this is, again, we've talked about the process many times, but basically the networks or the creators of the shows send in episodes to the Academy, and then the Academy picks the final 5 that make it to that final voting round, and then they vote. So there's like 2 processes of elimination. So this is everything that was sent in from everyone.
Also, yes. Pi, I wanted to. This is an idea I came up with. After we go through this list, I want you to pick your 5 nominees. If you could pick
Okay.
five of these shows to nominate, what would they be? I've already done mine, but we can
Okay,
go
that's a
through the
good
list
idea.
first. But I think that would be really cool to do. So,
All right. So let's go through all of these, but let's skip the ones that actually made it in, and let's also be brief on anything neither of us have seen.
okay.
So, all right. So, this is in alphabetical order. So the first is American Dad. I don't think we've seen any of that.
We
It's
watched
the
one episode.
Well, I mean this episode.
Oh,
I don't think
sorry,
we've seen
sorry.
this episode.
I thought you meant
Yeah.
the show as a whole.
We saw 2 episodes, so.
Oh, 2. That's right.
But yeah, this is the 300th episode. It looks like. Yeah, that didn't make it in. Archer, again, Archer nominated something. The description just says the mission is to guard a statue. Second mission is to tell Lana his true feelings. And the third mission is to get blind drunk. Didn't make it in. Archer doesn't really have a great track record with us and the Emmys. The episodes they picked seem to be generally tied to big storylines, which don't really work out too well. But yeah, so Big Mouth we talked about. Blackish, the election special. So Blackish is a live action sitcom. So was this episode animated or did it feature parts of animation?
That would be my guess.
I'm
I don't
gonna
know for
real
sure.
quick look this up. So far I'm not picking any of these. The election special part 2, Daily Motion. Nope, that's been taken down. I just want to see a promo or something.
Yeah,
I wanna know.
just
Anyone in the
something.
chat? Anyone in the chat? Any idea? Is this like full animated or animated sequences?
Toon
I
just said
imagine
it
it's
was an
probably like
animated episode.
a parody.
Yeah.
Okay, is it like a parody of what's that thing? Schoolhouse Rock, maybe? Election special. Interesting. All right, neither of us have seen that.
Nope.
Shadow, the Bleepin' Robot Chicken Archie Comics special.
I have not seen that yet. I haven't seen a lot of newer
Really?
Robot Chicken. I've only, like I said, I watched like up through a part of the way through season 3 with my girlfriend. We kind of stopped. We're probably going to go back to it soon, honestly. But I will make my way through all of Robot Chicken by some point.
Oh God, why?
I do enjoy it. I do like it in small bursts. I do like it. Like, my girlfriend and I would watch 1, maybe 2 episodes a night right before bed. That's the kind of show it is. Like, it's just a nice, brief little thing, you know. I like it. So.
Invader Pez says that the reason that Blackish episode is animated is because of the pandemic. They
Makes
weren't able to
sense.
make a regular episode. Fair enough.
sense.
Yeah. Okay. But that probably also doesn't mean that it's like it's probably not amazingly animated if it was
Yeah,
kind of like
I
a
wouldn't-
last minute decision.
Like, if the reason for it being animated was because of that and not because of a different creative decision, it doesn't give me hope for it being good.
Like amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean maybe the
exactly.
story is fine. It seems to be political in some way, so maybe it's bold in that way, but it is like that's a really gutsy decision to send it in. If it's something that's kind of a last minute, let's make it animation type thing.
Right.
But I don't know. I haven't seen it, so maybe it does do something special. God, Archie Comics and Robot Chicken. Listen, watching the Star Wars ones were like pulling teeth with me, and I know a little bit about Star Wars. I've seen the movies. I know nothing about Archie Comics, so I have to imagine this would be like my literal nightmare, especially if it's 44 minutes, which I have no idea if it is. All right, Bless the Hearts.
I think I've seen
Seen
a
it?
trailer for this show once, but I never watched it.
The description sounds pretty good. The Hearts go to visit their local mall the day before it's to be demolished, but what starts out a fun, nostalgic goodbye. Nostalgic goodbye quickly turns into mannequin-filled, blinged out early 2000s nightmare.
For a second there, I thought this was a Save the Rec Center episode.
Oh god. Something called Blood of Zeus.
Okay,
I've never heard of it.
Chat, back me up on this. Is this that Greek Gods Netflix show?
Probably.
Because if it is, I have heard good things about it. So there might actually be something worthwhile there. I don't know for sure. I need chat to confirm for me. But
Okay.
yeah, it looked interesting
So
from
far,
what
I'm
I
not
saw.
liking any of these Big Shadow.
Don't worry,
Um,
the list gets better as you go down the line. Just keep going.
okay. Castlevania, the endings. You've seen this, right?
I have seen the first 2 seasons. I have not seen anything after that.
All right.
But
I'm
I
glad
like
we're
it.
talking about a bunch of episodes we haven't seen.
Well, yeah, I haven't seen that episode in particular, but I will say, Netflix Castlevania, really good show. Really, really good.
What is a Creep Show animated special?
I have no idea. But if it's called a Creep Show animated special, it sounds like it's another show that isn't really animated, but had a special made. Maybe because of the pandemic or maybe other reasons. I don't know.
It's based on stories by Stephen King, Joe Hill, and directed by Greg Nicotero.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I don't know what
It
that
looks like a
is.
Tales from the Crypt type thing.
Okay.
It beats me. Crossing Swords? I don't know. I haven't heard of half these shows. What is this category? All right. I guess you haven't either. I don't know.
I have not heard of that one. Keep going. You've heard of this one.
I've heard of. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
Dota? There's a Dota series now?
Apparently there
like
is.
the MOBA game? Well, all right. Duncanville, haven't seen it. Evans for Family, I haven't seen that season. Family Guy, I don't watch it. Final Space, that probably
Let's go.
sucks.
How
Anyone
dare
who
you?
likes it is
How
probably...
dare you? Take that back. Final Space is awesome.
Okay.
Awesome
haven't
show.
seen it.
I love that
I just
show.
said that to mess with Shadow. Well, I know one of the ones that's going to make it on a Shadows list.
What?
Primal made it. The Great North? What? I've never heard of these shows.
I don't know what it is.
Like, I've
Hey!
literally never...
Hey, just get to
Yeah?
the next one already. For the love of God,
Harley
get to the
Quinn!
next one.
Is that the... I think that's the second
That's
season
the
finale.
season 2 finale.
Yes! I am all about it. Something borrowed, something green. Harley has to crash Ivy's wedding. A beautiful episode. Great series. That would be on my list. Invincible is an Amazon series that everyone is going wild for. I'm gonna watch it soon. I haven't yet though.
I want to as well.
People are mad that got snubbed, and I understand. Laser Wolf.
That's an Adult Swim show.
Okay.
Like, it's an Adult Swim show.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay. Marvel's MODOK.
That's on Hulu.
Tales from the Great Bar Mitzvah War.
Yeah.
What? I don't know what
it's
this
a Hulu. It's a Hulu original animated series. I think it's supposed to be a comedy based on what I've seen.
Well, there's a Bar Mitzvah episode in Harley Quinn too. Is this like related?
I don't think so, but
MODOK struggles to normalize his weird son Lou's bar mitzvah planning. Lou flees to Asgard, where he and MODOK find themselves on opposing sides of a mythological war that threatens to split the realm in two. That sounds pretty good.
it could be, yeah.
No Activity, never heard of it.
Don't know what
One
that
Day at
is.
a Time, the politics special, never heard of it. Our cartoon president,
No
good
thanks.
lord.
Get out of here.
Pacific Rim has a cartoon now?
Apparently.
Okay. Paradise PD, nope. Simpsons, Solar Opposites.
Oh, it's your favorite show.
Who
It's your
put this on
favorite
here?
show.
Who put this on
Rick
here?
and Morty
Who's
didn't.
pranking
Dude,
me?
Rick and Morty didn't have an episode for this year. They needed to put Solar Opposites to fill in the gap.
Solar Opposites is the solar opposite of quality content.
Oh my gosh.
South Park: The Pandemic Specials, Star Trek: The Lower Decks, and Yasuki. Did they just pick a list of shows that I've never heard of? Is that what's going on here? Shadow, my list is Harley Quinn
What else?
and Primal. Harley Quinn and Primal.
Okay. All right.
You know what?
Fair enough.
Okay, I'll put Invincible on there because everyone loves it, and I'm nothing but a people pleaser. Unless it doesn't line up with my opinion, in which case I will roast it mercilessly. Let's see. So I got 3.
Just pick 2 that sound like they could actually have potential or something.
All right. Well, I'll put Evans for Family on there because I've
Okay.
seen some episodes of that show and I like it. And then I don't know, man.
Solar Opposites. Do it.
I'll put the blood of Zeus because I like Greek
Okay.
mythology.
Okay.
All right. There we go. That's what we get.
All right. That's fair. So, my 5, and I kind of... This is a pipe dream. Like, I knew never in a million years would this happen, but could you imagine if they actually, like, cared at all, in the slightest, and picked a diverse cast of episodes to choose from? Primal, obviously.
Yeah.
Final Space, because I love that show to death. Invincible, because everybody seems to be going wild about that show, and I've seen nothing but good things. And just based on everything I know, without even having seen it, I can tell it's deserving. Harley Quinn, because that is a fantastic series, and that season 2 finale is absolutely mind-blowing. Like, one of the best episodes of the whole series.
If you want to hear us talk about it,
Yeah.
what was it, Stream Soda episode. There's a playlist on my channel. Though I think all of them are unlisted or whatever. But if you go to the playlist, me, you, and Kuro talk about.
Yeah. Harley Quinn, great show. That is one of the best episodes of the whole series. And then my final 5th slot would be Castlevania. I haven't seen that episode in particular, but I know that Castlevania has kept up its level of quality, and I definitely want to watch it at some point. But it's a solid show, and you know, especially for something based on a video game, it does a really good job of adapting that content while also adding in new material and coming up with its own narrative storyline. The animation is absolutely gorgeous. The characters are great. It's got a lot of solid things going for it. I was tempted to pick Blood of Zeus because I also am familiar with, like, I've seen a little bit of it, but I don't have enough to go off of with that one. But that would be like my kind of substitute number 6 slot if I were to have one. But like imagine for a second if the Emmys actually had.
No, I'd like to imagine a world where kids shows were still allowed, because Kipo is fantastic.
Kipo is 100% deserving of being nominated. Unquestionably. Unquestionably. Absolutely.
Yep.
Glitch Text is also very deserving of that. Absolutely. Ridiculous.
People are saying that the Solar Opposites episode was about the wall. So, okay. I mean,
I don't think that
was.
I don't think that was the wall episode, because the that was the fights a bear thing. I also, would that have fit in the time frame? Because I think that didn't.
No. It's about the wall, Shadow. It's not the season 1 episode about the wall. It's just another episode about the wall.
Okay. I was thinking, I think that actually came out before the cutoff anyways, so.
You're ready to go off, man. But no, it's a season 2 episode, I think.
Okay, that's what I thought, because I was confused a little for a second there, but yeah. Anyways.
Okay.
Listen, man, I'm passionate about animation. What can I say?
Did they actually make it a rule that was publicly stated, or is it just a huge assumption? Okay, we just read to you everything that was on this list.
Was there a single kid show?
Was there anything from Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network bearing Adult Swim?
Or Disney?
Was there anything? Yeah, Netflix, but like for kid. I don't know. I don't know if it was publicly stated.
I think it was.
But like,
I think it was. I think it was. I have to try and find the article again.
I don't know. I remember people talk about it in our server, and then between that and seeing this list, I'm like, yeah, it just seems like a fact, because there's no way that Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network just didn't submit anything. How about well, I guess not Distant Lands, because it wouldn't have made the BMO special. Might have made the cutoff. Yeah.
Yeah, the BMO special would have made it. Yeah. No, it's absolutely absurd, especially because it's like that qualifier of like no kids shows. That just makes any kids show half an hour or more just ineligible for anything,
Yes.
because they aren't eligible for the short form category anymore. So they just don't get any chance of recognition. That's absolutely unreasonable.
And I'd like to point out, actually, we'll go through the 11-minute one pretty quickly, because the thing I'd like to point out here is that, like, most of the 11-minute isn't kids shows either. Like adult shows are still eligible for the 11-minute one, and that doesn't make sense. No. Like, if you're gonna split it up and say that kids shows aren't allowed in the half hour or more category, then you really should say that adult shows aren't allowed in the 11-minute or more or less category. Like, where can any? But you know what it is. You know the reason for this. The reason for this is I would bet that the reason this is happening is because Emmy voters don't want to watch kids shows. They think it's beneath them. They'd rather watch the same boring Bob's Burgers, Simpsons, South Park, Big Mouth, Archer, all that stuff, right? They'd rather watch that every single year with maybe one exciting thing in there than have to dare subject themselves to one kid show. That has to be it. What legitimate reason could there possibly be other than that people don't want to watch it?
I'm convinced it's either that or these companies are paying the Emmys big bucks for their shows to be picked. That's the only other thing I could say.
Here's the outstanding short form animated program.
Go for it.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, these are just shorts. Or are these 11 minutes or less?
No, they are
Robot Chicken.
Yes, it is the outstanding short form animated program, which, by the way, only 4 nominees, not 5.
Here's everything that was submitted. The Andy Cohen Diaries. I've never heard of it. Probably an adult show. Black Death. That has to be an adult show. Close Enough is an adult show.
Yep.
Something I'd actually pick on here, though. Devil May Care. It's got to be an adult show, right? I actually
sounds like it.
Yeah. It definitely is. GCDS Out of This World Digital Fashion Arcade Show.
That could be a kid thing. I don't know.
What even is this? I don't know. Love, Death, and Robots is an adult show.
Yep, 100%.
Maggie Simpson short. Okay, fair enough. I love the fact that The Simpsons was able to be submitted in 2 different categories. Like, that's great, right? So, Odeon? I've never heard of this. Once Upon a Snowman, which is Olaf's thing. That's a kid's show.
Yep.
Or kid's special. Party Like It's 1859. That's probably an adult show. The Pole, which is a Santa Claus thing. That might be a kid's show. Power of Hope, which is about Michelle Obama.
Okay.
What? Robot Chicken, adult show. Sincerely Chamomile, I don't know what that is. The Summoner, Tales from the Trip, Tigtone, which that one's a kid show.
Mm-hmm.
YOLO, The Crystal Factory. That one's probably a kid show. And Your Daily Horoscope.
Yep.
The awful... Hang on. No. We're not going to glaze over this. The awful Quibi show. That was somehow
Quibi's a thing.
somehow partially produced by Will Arnett of all people, and the designs definitely look like a knockoff BoJack. What made it? What are the nominees?
All right,
for this?
so of those nominees, there were 4 picked, not 5, 4. They were Love, Death, and Robots, Maggie Simpson Force Awakens special, Once Upon a Snowman, so hey, there's at least something kid-focused, and Robot Chicken. That's the 4.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely
Utterly
absurd.
ridiculous. They couldn't pick 5 out of all of those, right? No, like Amphibia or Owl House or anything that kids and even adults are even watching.
Yeah.
Steven Universe Future? I don't know if that was even this year, but that didn't get...
I don't know if that would have been in the time frame.
Maybe not. But just like, it wouldn't have been eligible.
Maybe it would.
Or I mean,
Yeah.
And The Simpsons twice.
Baffling. Yeah.
The Simpsons twice. If that doesn't show that there's just a ridiculous, stupid bias towards The Simpsons, there has to be a subset of people that just always vote Simpsons to be in the final nominees. That has to be it.
Yeah.
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 Let's see. Once Upon a Snowman was just a scene from Frozen Olaf. Scene from Frozen from Olaf's perspective. It wasn't even good, says Tunjay. Wow.
Yeah. That's...
Oh yeah, the DuckTales finale. Oh yeah, but that's ineligible. Oops.
Yep. Ridiculous.
YOLO and Tigtone are Adult Swim shows. Oh, I was thinking of Tig and Seek. Oops.
Oh. Same thing.
Big City Greens.
It's just absurd. It's insulting to animation fans everywhere.
Yeah, I would not have known that the year we start doing this show is the same year that they finally drop the pretense and say, we just don't care. We don't care about... 100% they don't care about children's animation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's full stop, period, end of sentence. Whether they care about animation at all is still doubtful. But, like, they don't care about kids' animation. It's ridiculous that it doesn't have its own category.
At this point, I'm surprised they haven't just... gotten rid of the category because like they don't care. They care so little they may as well not do it. I feel like it would be better for everyone's sanity if they just didn't do it because they don't care. I would rather them just not insult us and just ignore it than do this personally, but that's just me. Yeah, It's
I think
mind-boggling.
is there still a category for just like children's show in general?
I don't think so. I can scroll through the document
Let me
right now.
look. Yeah, I'm looking. No, I don't see
No,
it
I
on
don't
here.
see it.
Not in the. Wow. Well, I don't want to end this on such a dour note, and I apologize for getting so heated. It's
Hmm.
just sad. It's just really, we live in a time where like kid shows are more ambitious and accessible to adults than ever, and yet they're just gonna get snubbed. Like
Yep.
what? And I mean, and let's not even pretend like the adult animation is in a great place either, because if you're not Archer, The Simpsons, South Park, Bob's Burgers, if you're not any of those shows, you have a very small chance of making it in, because those shows are always going to make it in outside of Archer, I guess. But
Hmm.
like the frequency at which those shows make it is just sad.
Yeah. Absolutely sad. The only
Um,
other like animated related things are like there's a voiceover performance category, but
ooh,
that's yeah, I can actually go back to that. But again, it's very similar shows. Outstanding character voiceover performance: Archer, Jessica Walter
hmm.
as Mallory.
Oh yeah, she deserves it.
Well, there's also Big Mouth, Maya Rudolph as Connie.
No.
Blackish election special, Stacey Abrams as Stacey Abrams. There's Bridgerton, Julie Andrews as Lady Whistledown. Central
Mhm.
Park, uh, Titus or Titus Burgess as Cole Tillerman.
Titus.
Titus, okay, sorry. There's also Stanley Tucci as Bitsy Brandenham from the same show. And then Family Guy, your favorite voice actor pie, Seth MacFarlane as Peter Griffin, Stewie Griffin, Brian Griffin, and Glenn Quagmire. The only person on here with more than one character, by the way.
Right.
So there's
So
that. And then
I
there's.
do want to.
Oh, go
Oh
ahead.
yeah. I just want to point out that there is the Daytime Emmy Awards,
Right.
where there is an outstanding children's animated series, and an outstanding preschool children's animated series,
Hmm.
um, and short form children's program. But like, no one cares about the Daytime
No one
Emmys.
cares about the daytime enemies. That is.
No.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The other animation kind of categories is there's sound editing and sound mixing. Love, Death, and Robots is one of the nominees. I think that Star Trek's Lower Decks was animated. That's another one for sound editing. And then for sound mixing, it looks like. Actually, I don't think any of these are animated.
Hmm,
I could be wrong.
interesting.
So, yeah, but it looks like that's about it. Oh, well, I don't know if that. Yeah, I don't know if that can. There is an Inside Pixar was nominated for something. I don't know how much animation is in that. I haven't seen
Hmm.
it. It's the Disney Plus special. Uh,
So we do have in the children's animated series in the daytime Emmys, we have Amphibia, Craig of the Creek, Hilda, Kipo, and Tales of Arcadia Wizards. They
okay,
don't do it the same way. There's not episodes nominated. It's
it's
just a
just the
series in general.
okay.
Um, and then in the special class daytime animated program, Adventure Time Obsidian special, Angela's Christmas Wish, Baba Yaga, Here We Are, Notes for Living on Planet Earth, and Xavier Riddle and the Secret Museum.
For a second there, I thought you were gonna say Xavier Renegade Angel, and I was like, wait,
Yeah. No,
what?
no.
That'd have been
So
funny.
it's like it is there, but no one cares about the daytime Emmys, and I don't see the point in limiting it. 2J actually found the clause. Eligibility in animation is for programming that targets an audience above the age of 13.
Yeah.
Animated programming that has a TV rating of TV 14 and above is only eligible in the primetime Emmys. Note: children's animated programs with target an audience of 6 to 12 will be eligible in the daytime Emmys. RIP for anything that targets 13-year-old. No.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like I don't see that as a solution.
No, it's absolutely unreasonable. 100%.
So, yep.
Most
Man.
unfortunate. But I'm sure we
Yeah.
will have more to say in 2 months when the Emmys happen and we find out what wins and all of that stuff. So, Yeah, we will be talking about these nominees
Yes.
roughly 2 months from now when the Emmys happen. So, yeah, just keep an eye out for that.
All right.
All right. Well, I guess we can go ahead and announce the.
Thank you for the super chat, Alyssa.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Uh-oh.
Are you good?
Chat.
Uh-oh. Is Pi losing me?
Buddy. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm waiting for your internet.
Oh.
Oh my
okay.
gosh.
I can hear you fine, so I don't know. You didn't come out.
No, you can't. You're hearing me on a delay.
Oh no. That's not good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you read this?
All right, I'll read the super chat.
Super chat at
Alyssa
least,
Swain, $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Alyssa. Owl House Enchanting Ground Fright should be nominated. You should see the gorgeous animation in the dance scene. I personally haven't seen the Owl House at all yet, but I hear a lot of people raving about it, so I will definitely take your word for it on that. Because I'm sure that, you know, based on just the praise I've seen, Owl House is certainly worthy of being considered for a nomination. Absolutely. But yeah.
All right. Can you hear me now?
I do hear you. Is the delay present?
Okay. So it seems like a... No. That was weird. That was very weird.
Okay. Might have been Discord or something. I don't know.
Possibly. But yeah. I don't know, man. It does make me feel better knowing that at least there is a daytime category that deals with all this stuff, because I don't know. If the primetime Emmys were going to keep snubbing kids animation anyway, maybe it's better to just say nah. But it really does kind of feel like they're delegitimizing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not worthy enough to make it for no real reason. Like, look, if they don't think that the episodes submitted are good enough, then don't put them in. Don't make them a part of the final thing, right? Like, why make it an actual rule?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I said, it's better to just ignore it altogether, honestly, I think. Like, but hey, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, read the nominees for 2008, and let's get out of here.
All right. So yeah, this is for the regular primetime outstanding animation category again. So we're going back to the regular half-hour programs. Next week, 2008. We have, starting off, King of the Hill for the first time with Death Picks Cotton. Second up is an Aardman show, believe it or not, Creature Comforts, specifically Creature Comforts America, which is season 3 of the show, called Don't Choke to Death, Please. Let's see.
Well, we have a special request for this.
Yes, so...
Right?
Yeah, I've tried looking for this Don't Choke to Death Please episode or whatever you call it, but when I've gone to look it up, I can't find a single source anywhere online that actually has this name tied to a particular episode, because based on like IMDb, Wikipedia, the show's own wiki, every source I look at has these episodes listed by like individual sketches, I guess, because I'm guessing this is a compilation series. So like, rather than Don't Choke to Death Please, there's 3 individual sketch titles, you know, / together. If anyone out there knows which particular group of episodes or sketches that this is correlating to, and you could let us know, that'd be very much appreciated, because as far as we can tell, this phrase Don't Choke to Death Please does not correlate to anything that at least I can find online in that half hour, 45 minutes I tried to research this. So we're...
Well, so I bought the DVD for like $6 on Amazon. Mm-hmm. It's coming in a few days. So it's not lost media or anything. It's just we're not really sure what the title corresponds to. So when the DVD comes, I'll be able to kind of skim through all the episodes. And to be honest, if we can't figure out what it corresponds to, we can look at the date and see, you know, narrow down an episode and just pick an episode in that time frame. I doubt that any given episode is going to be too different, since it's like a sketch show.
I think the entire season aired within the time frame of the Emmys, so I don't know.
Well,
there's only like there's 7 episodes.
There's only 7 episodes. So
But
All right, and next up,
just wanted to put that out there. So if anyone knows and you can let us know in the Discord server, that would be very, very much appreciated. But anyways, after that, we've got Robot Chicken with Star Wars, the first Star Wars special. Can't wait for that. And then after that, we've got Spongebob Squarepants for the first time, or technically the last, depending on how you look at it. With the this is a combination of two 11-minute episodes into one half-hour nomination: the Inmates of Summer and the Two Faces of Squidward. Oh yeah, it's that episode.
Yep,
one of these for that.
One of these shorts became meme status.
Oh yeah, can't wait.
And the other one, the other one is there.
That'll be fun. I can't wait for that.
And yeah, as Zoro points out, from my research anyway, they're not from the same half hour. So I think they just pick and chose two 11-minute episodes.
They're not.
No.
What the heck? That makes no sense. See, I would
make the rules up every single week. There's different rules for how this award show works. I don't get it.
What? Like, logically thinking, you would think they would pick the pairing. Oh my gosh, what even? Okay, well that'll be interesting, I guess. And then last up, guys, hang on. This is gonna blow your mind. But we have The Simpsons. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
With Eternal Moonshine of the Simpson Mind. Yeah, I know. You just lost your pants. I know. It absolutely blew you away. But
I actually really like that episode a lot. So we'll see on that. So CDCB wants to clarify, because I don't know. He knows something about SpongeBob air dates, maybe. They premiered in the same half hour, even though they're not the same pairing. Like, production-wise, they're not a pairing, and I think in reruns they're not that pairing, but that's how they premiered, so that's how it's going.
Okay.
Also, Tunjay, being the amazing sleuth that he is, has already figured out the episode we have to watch for Creature Comforts.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. I'm going to write this down while I see it in the chat before I forget, so I know. So, yeah.
Yes. It's
okay. Self-image winging it art. Gotcha.
Self-image winging it in art. That's what he said, and that he sources the Emmys thing. So I guess like the Wikipedia page and like elsewhere on the Emmys website is just incorrect.
I guess I don't know where they got that "Don't Choke to Death, Please" name from. So
wait, hang on, I see it. Hang on, if you look on the page that Tunjay linked in the Discord, if you like at the top it says self-image winging it art, but if you scroll down, it says nominee Creature Comforts America, Don't Choke to Death, Please. So.
What?
It just has two different names.
That's so weird, especially because that "Don't Choke to Death, Please" isn't used anywhere else online, at least from what I found. Like, why is it? I don't know. Maybe the DVD will give us some answers.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's very strange. Very strange.
All right.
Yeah, I think there was one other thing that I wanted to say, but I can't remember. Oh well, it's no big deal.
Well, we're just as a heads up, we're not going to be here in 2. That's probably maybe what you're thinking. So next week we'll be here with. Next year we'll be here with 2008, the half-hour category, and then the 27th, Shadow and I will both be away, and then on the 3rd of August we will be back with the hour or more version of 2008.
Yep, and there will be 3 nominees that time, so there will be one additional thing to talk about. Unlike this week where there were 2, so yeah, how exciting.
Exciting. All right.
Yep.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this very strange episode. I think going forward, when we have this hour category, if there's only like 2 things to talk about, we probably will find some other topic to kind of fill out the show. We ended up talking for a long time, but there was a lot to talk about. And yeah, just to be clear, we're not doing 2021 until the winners are announced. We're not doing it next week or the week after or anytime soon. We just wanted to give you a taste because it was hot off the presses, right in the news here. But we want to have the actual winner to talk about.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for us to do the show next week and then like just offhandedly announce what won in a different episode. So
Yeah, and we'll remind you again when we get closer to the actual date as like a hey,
yes.
just a reminder, the show is on the 19th. We're going to be doing ours on the 21st or whatever it is. So
Whatever it is, that's not the actual thing. Shadow was giving an example.
yeah.
Yep. And honestly, with the way things have gone, I don't think we'll be doing 2022, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not saying our show won't exist. I'm just saying that if it's just gonna be Bob's Burgers and Simpsons and South Park from here on out, over and over and over again, with maybe like Archer 2 and Big Mouth, 2021 is probably gonna be the newest we go on.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I think that like because who knows how long I haven't figured out how many weeks this show would go for. Like whatever, but like I feel like the only reason we would do 2022 is if there was something like different or unique, where it actually justified it. Because I feel like we kind of, especially over the first 10 episodes where we went through the entire 2010s decade, nothing seems to have changed for 2021, and it seems like it's going to continue down that path. We've beaten a dead horse so many times with shows like Bob's Burgers, and it's tiring.
Yeah,
there's nothing new to say.
Yeah, we're not saying the show will be over or anything.
Right.
We've talked about this many times, and depending on how we're doing with the show, and if you guys are still interested, there are other categories and even other award shows that to talk about. So. But I don't see. Yeah, I agree with Shadow. I don't see a point in talking about the same shows again and again and again, just indefinitely in the future. And I don't really want to give any more attention to the new categories if it is just if they're gonna limit themselves in that way.
Yeah.
But we got a lot of interesting, weird stuff to go over in the 2000s. This is an era where Shadow and I are a lot more familiar with basically everything. It's also an era where there's a lot of like 2 11-minute episodes in there. There's SpongeBob. There's stuff to look forward to and talk about.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Yes.
I'm excited. I honestly was just dying to get to 2009.
Yeah.
So we could just start dipping our toes into this and getting into like where the Emmys are actually exciting, and there's like a lot of cool diverse shows, and the further
it's
back
like
we go, it's like
kids and adult shows,
yes,
versus
there's a
just like
balance.
all adult and one kid.
Yes, absolutely. Sure, The Simpsons is still here every year, but those other 4 slots can go to a bunch of different shows. Like it's
We're also
night
approaching
and day.
the good part of The Simpsons.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff coming up with this decade, and then even into the 90s as well. So like we've kind of gotten past the worst part. We're finally getting into like, the exciting stuff. So I'm really, really happy we're here, and I can't wait to see all the future shows that we do with all the upcoming nominees and years. So yeah.
Okay. Also, apparently, Self-Image Ringing It and Art was nominated for the individual achievement in animation, not the category we're talking about.
Okay.
Oh, the plot thickens. The plot, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know anymore.
Okay, so because I told you before the show that Aardman got nominated for another category, and that's what it won. So that particular nomination won that category, but the one we're talking about might not necessarily be the same thing. Maybe it is. I don't know. We'll need to do more research. If anyone knows anything, like I said, Toonjay, if you keep looking into it, or anyone else, and you can give us some answers in the Discord, much appreciated, because it would be ideal to get the right episode. If not, we're just going to have to improvise and pick one or something. But
yeah, we'll watch
do our
something,
best.
certainly.
Yeah, we'll do
I
our
got the
best.
DVD, man. I'll let you know the inside scoop from all the probably 0 bonus features on it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us here. I know this is a lot of rambling and stuff, but I had fun. I thought this was a good show. Good palate cleanser. Nice and different.
Absolutely. And I'm kind of interested to see what the future hour-long specials will be like as well. Because if there's more stuff like this where, not that it's necessarily fair to compare them, as we said, but if there's just a lot of like interesting stuff that have different elements that make it stand out, I'm all for that. So
Train Man is saying, if you need clarification, Creature Comfort is a show that originates from the UK. Therefore, the episode has 2 names. But I don't see how that follows. I don't get that.
Yeah, we still need to know which one. Like, we still need to verify what "Don't Choke to Death, Please" correlates to, That's what we're trying
Maybe
to
it's just
figure out.
advice. Maybe they're just nominating the advice.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
Maybe there's just one line. Maybe in the episode only one line was nominated for an Emmy.
yeah. But all right, I guess that about does things. This is our longest episode by far, which ironically we were expecting this to be our shortest episode. So
well, this was a big topic.
Yeah,
talking about the future of the Emmys here. This is the most important episode.
Right.
Let's end this right now at the 2-hour mark. Pie Guy rules out.
Okay, bye guys.